Hello everybody, this is Joy KahNah and welcome to Neptune in the 5th house. If you're unsure where Neptune falls in your chart, here's how you can find out. First, you'll need to gather your birth information, including your birth date, birth time, and birth location. Once you have that information, click on the link in the description below. This will bring you to a chart generator. And once you're there, input all of your birth information. Next, select the chart drawing ascendant option. This will bring you to your chart, which will look something like this. Once you're there, you want to look for the symbol that looks like a person with their arms up. I swear that's what it looks like. Here's the symbol for Neptune. So look around your chart until you find that symbol. Once you've found it, look for the tiny little number near the center of the triangle that the Neptune symbol falls in. This number is the house of your Neptune. In this chart, you'll see that Neptune is in the 8th house, but in your chart, it could be any house 1 through 12. I think this is actually a really good placement for Neptune. When you bring Neptune to the 5th house, which is the house of creativity and children and fun, it can cast a dreamlike quality upon truly some of the best parts of your life. The 5th house is the house of enjoyment and the house of fun, and Neptune is the planet of dreams and the planet of intuition, and Neptune can help us to feel a sense of oneness with the world. So if you have Neptune in your 5th house, in the highest sense, this can mean that when you're having fun and when you're enjoying yourself, that you actually become very spiritually alive and you start to feel a oneness and a higher spiritual meaning in your life. So for people with Neptune in the 5th house activities like recreation and sports and games and theater and music and art and becoming a parent, like all of these things can be pathways to spiritual awakening or spiritual enlightenment. Most astrologers agree that if you have a planet in the 5th house, then this planet actually represents a child that you may have in your life, a very important child, usually your child. And with the Neptune here in the 5th house, this would mean that your child might be a little girl or that your child has a beautiful spiritual energy. This could mean that you actually are here to bring a gifted child into the world, a child who has profound creative, artistic, or intuitive abilities. And I could just imagine that being the parent to this Neptune child would be a really, really amazing experience, and that the two of you would have an incredible spiritual bond. The 5th house represents our road to happiness. So if you have this placement, you may actually find that you really, really enjoy spiritual sorts of activities on one hand. So you could really enjoy your process of awakening. You could find that you have literally the time of your life by going to a spiritual expo or conference of some type, like a UFO conference or a near-death experience conference or something like that that has to do with the afterlife and has to do with spirituality. Or you could have like the time of your life on a spiritual retreat. You know, a lot of people can get really, really serious about their spiritual path, but with Neptune in the 5th house, you have some support from the universe in taking full enjoyment in learning how to use your psychic intel and learning how to use your intuition. You might find it really, really fun to learn to read cards, or you might take just a lot of enjoyment in meditation or in hypnotherapy. Like, you could actually participate in some of these spiritual services or healings or things like that just for the sheer enjoyment and entertainment of them. Try to think of your path to spiritual enlightenment and your path to oneness as the most fun and exciting journey that you could ever undertake. So that's kind of the high side of Neptune in the 5th house. There are, of course, some potential pitfalls to this placement as well. The 5th house does rule things like gambling and partying. And so the lower side of Neptune in the 5th house could mean that you are not seeing clearly the way that your recreational activities are impacting your life. It could lead to somebody becoming overly dependent on alcohol, especially drinking while they're out partying, while they're out having fun. It could lead to somebody who becomes dependent on recreational drugs as well. This could also lead to somebody who ends up becoming addicted to gambling. Those are all possibilities with this placement, because Neptune is where we try to escape. Wherever Neptune falls in our chart, it sort of casts a fog. It becomes important to take a clear look at what you're really doing for fun. Ask how your pursuit of enjoyment in life, how it might be impacting others, and to ask your friends and family to sort of be a mirror for you and to help you see more clearly what you enjoy, what makes you feel alive, but also whether or not you have become disillusioned with your recreational hobbies. You know, the 5th house rules dating for fun and dating for pleasure. Somebody with Neptune here in the 5th house may not be able to see their dating clearly. They might think, oh yeah, you know, I just love Tinder, or, you know, I love Bumble or whatever, and it's just so fun, and I'm just going to go on so many dates. They're just casual, I'm not really looking for a relationship. And this person might think that their pursuit of fun through casual dating, that it's just all good, clean fun, and it's not affecting anyone. And a person with Neptune in the 5th house might not realize that they are, for example, leaving a string of broken hearts behind them. You know, that what they think is really fun, or their pursuit of fun, which could come through gambling, or it could come through dating, or it could come through anything really. But people with this placement may not be able to see the impacts of their own pursuit of enjoyment in life, and there really could be a shadow around casual dating in particular. If you have this placement, I would caution you to get feedback from your friends about anybody that you might be casually dating, because Neptune can sort of cast that fog or that dreamlike quality over a potential partner. You might just see somebody from across the room and you might just see their soul glowing and think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much fun with that person. And because of Neptune there, you could really not necessarily see the consequences. For example, you may find yourself very attracted to that person when you've had something to drink, but then when you sober up and the influence of Neptune isn't as strong, because Neptune rules alcohol as well, then you might be like, what? You're not who I thought you were. So you could get really tricked with those potential dating partners. Maybe people are tricking you into casual sex or casual dating relationships. You could easily be deceived in that area, and you can imagine all kinds of different possibilities of what that might look like. Maybe somebody says, oh, this is just a casual thing, or this is just a friend with benefits sort of thing, and you think, great, that's cool, that's what I'm into, I like that, and then the person starts to treat you like their significant other, or that person starts to fall in love with you, or there becomes more and more ramifications, more and more expectations. Something like that could really happen. So you really need to get clear feedback when it comes to anything that has to do with casual dating, casual sex, those areas. Love for the sake of enjoyment, and just make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of and that you're not taking advantage of anyone else either. A high side of Neptune in the 5th house is that it could give you really, really good intuition when it comes to matters of the 5th house. So if you learn to activate your psychic abilities and your intuition and to channel the highest side of Neptune, you could actually find that you have a gift for predicting the outcome of sports tournaments or something like that. And if you don't get too carried away, perhaps you could actually end up with some winnings as long as you stay in touch with the clearest side of Neptune, that clear intuition. The highest side of Neptune would mean that, you could actually end up having like a gift for being a matchmaker or something like that. And not only that, but you could really have fun doing something like that. With Neptune in the 5th house, you may find that you could really enjoy water sports. For example, you might really enjoy boating or swimming or jet skiing or scuba diving or anything like that. Scuba diving especially, I can imagine, because Neptune is ruled by Pisces, and Pisces rules the sea, but especially like the deep sea and the ocean. And so you could find that you really enjoy diving deep down and seeing the sea life, seeing the fish, stuff like that. If you have Neptune in the 5th house and you've never really tried going on a cruise, or you've never really tried or explored much with the water, you might give it a try, because you might really find enjoyment in these water-based activities. With Neptune in the 5th house, don't be deceived by games of luck, okay? Neptune shows where we can be tricked and where we can be deceived. So I think with Neptune in the 5th house, you may not want to go to Las Vegas or something like that, because I could just imagine that you could perhaps get really swindled by people who just promise great winnings, Be mindful if you see advertisements for the lottery or jackpot or Mega Millions or whatever, or you see, commercials or things like that. Try to stay really grounded and try to stay really mindful about what the real odds are, because you could start to get swept away and you could start to think, oh yes, I'm going to buy so many tickets or things like that, and you could forget, wait, the chance of me winning this is 1 in 200 million, or I'm not sure what the actual odds are, but I know that they're not good. So you've got to try to think really clearly about what any odds are when you are gambling or playing the lottery or anything like that. You're definitely better to use your intuition and bet on something like a football game or basketball game or something like that where there's 50-50 odds. With Neptune in the 5th house, you could have some illusions around children. So in one sense, you may see children through the most beautiful light, and you may be able to see that spiritual quality in children. That would be the high side of Neptune placed here. On the other hand, Neptune in the 5th house could make us have this big dream, this amazing dream of what it's going to be like to be a parent and how fun it's going to be, and just, how much fun our family is going to have during the holidays. We could build up this huge vision where we might be seeing our role as a potential parent through rose-colored glasses. And one unfortunate thing about Neptune is that sometimes it can really let us down. Sometimes we can feel like a sense of harsh reality where it falls in our chart, because in one sense it gives us a dream But on the other sense, a lot of times reality doesn't match up. So if you have this placement, and let's say you're not yet a parent, but you have this dream of being a parent and having this amazing relationship with your child, chances are you will have a spiritual connection with your child if you have Neptune in the 5th house, but that doesn't mean that it will be easy, right? And it doesn't mean that it will always be fun, okay? So if you have this placement, make sure that you're seeing your relationship with your child or potential children clearly. Now, the 5th house also can be about drama and theater and areas of our life where we can be an actor or actress. And in the highest sense, you could have an amazing gift for this type of work. You could have an ability for channeling energy through you when you are on stage, when you are acting, when you're dancing, when you're singing, anything that puts you on stage. And I think that it's really that ability that propels people to the greatest sorts of success. The lower side of this would be somebody who has delusions about how dramatic that they are. They just see themselves as being the star of this amazing show that is their life. And for somebody with Neptune in the 5th house, it could be that it's kind of all a dream. Maybe they think that their life is really funny and that they're the star and that their drama is really cool, and maybe they just feel so alive. But maybe everyone else in their life is kind of really tired of it and is like, I'm not really seeing this the way that you're seeing this. Try to reach for the high side of Neptune in the 5th house and find an activity that you love that makes you feel connected to your soul. That is what you really want to reach for with Neptune in the 5th house. And not the kind of lower sides of this where you're just kind of escaping through activities that feel enjoyable, but that aren't actually that healthy for you anymore. The 5th house is also an indicator of our artistic abilities. So someone with Neptune here could create channeled art. You could have an amazing ability to use some artistic medium to create just beautiful spiritual creations. I've seen some amazing depictions recently of digital art of angels or the heavens or things like this, and I like to think that maybe this was created by somebody with Neptune in the 5th house. I'm sure that you do have a very significant creative gift, either a creative gift or a true spiritual, like God-given gift for performance or athletics or something like that. And if you haven't found your gift yet, really dig deep into your soul and see where your soul is guiding you, because you have a gift that's coming from spirit that wants to be expressed through a 5th house activity. So yeah, everyone, that's a little bit about Neptune in the 5th house. If you have this placement, I really hope that you experience just the highest side of what it has to offer. I hope that you're able to see the beauty in life that's all around you, and I hope that all of your fun and all of your recreational activities, I hope that all of this brings you closer to your soul and closer to the divine. If you have this placement, I hope you find joy and laughter in your everyday life, because it truly is when you're smiling and when you're enjoying yourself and when you're having fun that you will be closest to the divine. Thank you all for watching, and namaste. Bye.